Yeah, good night. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM next Wednesday. You're listening to a Native American named John Trudell, poet of my own heart, man. John Trudell. I remember we tell you, say, we are celebrate Black History Month. You think it's a joke we make? A Black History Month, this we are celebrate. Yes, may I tell you. Okay, so we are getting some little technical difficulty a while ago, but I have a feeling so we started out, you know. So we started out. I hope so. I hope we started out. Okay. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, the American them give out advisory to Americans who is coming to Jamaica. Because them talk about the crime that and them tell you exactly which part for go, where you know for go, which city you for watch out for and all these things. Well, you know, we have advisory for Jamaicans who are go to America. I think it's a joke, right? You think it's a joke, right? All right, listen.
Are you thinking of relocating somewhere in the States? Make sure you take a look at the 12 worst places to live in the US before you make any decisions about your next home base. 12. St. Louis, Missouri. Over 14% of St. Louis' population is living below the poverty line. Out of 100,000 residents, every year 35.3 are murdered, which ranks it as one of America's most dangerous cities too. 11. Reno, Nevada. Reno was the gambling capital of the US until Las Vegas was developed, and the biggest little city in the world has been in economic decline ever since. Reno experiences nearly 39 annual crimes per 1,000 residents. 10. Modesto, California. Despite being home to the largest winery in the world, the unemployment rate was nearly 13% in 2014. Modesto ranks number 1 in the country for car theft, and out of 200,000 residents, up to 10,000 are reported to be gang members. 9. Oakland, California. The economy in Oakland is strong, with a good median household income. However, home to around 50 gangs and a high violent crime rate, Oakland also suffers from high traffic congestion and poor air quality, 190% worse than the national average. 8. New Orleans, Louisiana. The murder capital of the country also has one of the worst toxic substance records. New Orleans has still not recovered from Hurricane Katrina and was ranked number 2 in America's dirtiest cities. 7. Birmingham, Alabama. 27.3% of residents live below the poverty line. Out of every 100,000 residents, 1,400 are victims of violent crimes due to the prominent drug trade and high poverty rate. 6. Stockton, California. In 2012, the city filed for bankruptcy. Forbes voted Stockton as one of the most dangerous cities in America due to its high crime rates, with over 20,000 violent and property crimes committed last year. 5. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is the largest city on the Mississippi River, with over 20% of its inhabitants living below the poverty line. In Memphis, you stand a 1 in 12 chance of being a victim of crime. 4. New Haven, Connecticut. Home of Yale University, the surrounding areas of New Haven are impoverished and crime-ridden. Nearly 68 crimes occur annually for every 1,000 residents. 3. Cleveland, Ohio. Aside from being one of the most corrupt cities in the country, Cleveland also has harsh weather conditions, with an average of 60 inches of snowfall each year. 2. Detroit, Michigan. The city is suffering from urban decay, with over 32% of residents living below the national poverty line. According to FBI reports, Detroit has the highest rate of violent crime of any city over 200,000. 1. Camden, New Jersey. Camden has been on Forbes' list of America's most miserable cities for years. Riddled with urban decay and political corruption, over 42% of its residents live below the poverty line. It also has 560% more crime than the national average. Where do you think the worst place to live in the US is?
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, that was Cutting Edge Travel Advisory to all Jamaicans visiting America. Okay.
The Zambian government, Bishop, sold the copper mines in northern Zambia to an outside consortium for $25 million. The copper mines for $25 million because they couldn't manage to keep them. The company that came in and took over the Zambian copper mines in 3 months made a profit of $75 million. They did not pay the Zambian government up front in cash for the mines. They were going to pay them over a period of time. Here we have this company that has an understanding of how things work, raised the money at the government's expense, took money that the company should have, the government should have been making, and gave it back to the government and said, we paid our debt in full, and give them now 0.006% of the proceeds of copper mining. When right outside the door there's people in poverty, people in not eating, people ignorant, people dying, high levels of AIDS, and what's the deal? Churches are full, people are praising God, Africans pray all night. Prayer is not in the success equation. Prayer is in the revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation. You have to make a decision and be sound. We have to be disciplined and make sure we go and get what God has called us to get. You can be full of the Holy Ghost, but you can still be ignorant. But as for me and my house, I will get understanding. I will get understanding. I will get understanding. It's time now for us to rise up and be counted. This year, the country of Ghana turns 50. Ghana was born the same year we were born, in 1957. Ghana and South Korea had their independence dates on the same day, the same year. But look where South Korea is. South Korea is by nature not a Christian nation. South Korea by nature are Buddhists. China, which is the next large world economy, they have stated that in the next 10 years, 20% of the Chinese people will be multimillionaires. That means almost 450 million Chinese will be millionaires. They are not Christians, they are Buddhists. The Japanese are Shintoists. Those in Indonesia and Malaysia are Muslims. It's not about praising God and hallelujah and a great thank you, Jesus. It's about possessing an understanding as to how things work.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Woman in the audience, black women, white women, Chicano women, women, do you know who you are? No, you don't know. Do you think that you are measurements? I'm 36, 23, and 36. What does that mean to you? You got a fine frame. Isn't that beautiful? So what does that make you? Does that make you a thing? Shake that thing. Give me that thing. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to be funny. I want your thing. What are you saying? You've been reduced to nothing, to a thing, to a piece of meat. And just like a wise person that goes to a meat store, says, bring that meat out from in the counter. Let me see what I'm getting here. And you turn it over. Now that's the one I want. Weigh it up, I'll take it. This is what women have become. Women are too important to be allowed to be degenerate. Do you know who you are? Each woman is more than flesh. She is created by the Creator in such a magnificent way that she is a replication of the womb of creation. Listen. The woman is the replication of the womb out of which Allah said be, and created sun, moon, stars, and all things. But from the womb of a woman, if God's hand is over that womb, you can, with the help of God, produce a Genghis Khan, a Napoleon, a Hitler, or you can produce a Jesus, a Muhammad, and a God. It's up to you. Yes. You are more than what they tell you you are. So much more than what they tell you you are. There will never be respect for life until we respect the womb that produces life. And as long as women are used and abused in any society, as long as women are denied their proper and rightful place, then men will never be what we should be, because a woman is the first teacher and the first nurse and the evolver of the race.
The white woman has been the only woman we have had an opportunity to study every day of our life. On television, in every magazine we ever picked up, in every newspaper, on every radio. She's been the only model we have had. And if we think that that's not important, then we need to, look at that again. We have studied that, and we have made up and came up with requirements that the white people have set for us for our man. And if he cannot come up to those requirements, then we have decided that he is impotent and unable to be our man because he's disqualified, because he does not qualify by the standards that the white people have set up. We think a good, successful relationship is one where everything goes our way. The first time it stops going our way, then we got a serious problem. We want our man to do everything we tell him to do, but we don't want to do anything he tells us to do. They have told us that the only provision that the black man is qualified to give us is one of money. And we have made finance the major focus of our relationships with them. We have made the one thing that most of them don't even have be the criteria. We have been taught that if they do not give us money, that we are not to even allow them to be a father to their child. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, then he is not qualified to tell us what to do. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, that he doesn't have any rights in the home. It's whoever is making the money who has the rights. That's not our system. The black man provides more in a black home than just financial support. He provides direction, guidance, gratification, fulfillment, and discipline for our children.
Yes, serious clips, thoughts, provoking. Well, you know that a lot of people will listen, and because it coming from this direction, them pass over it. But we actually need some preacher in Jamaica to say black. Simple. We need some preacher to just say black. Because A whole heap of time if them say black, them say black people are murder themselves, black people don't know themselves, black people. But real and truly, even that, but just say black. There's something about these people that afraid to say the word black. Them just afraid to say it, black. You know, man, I talk about how the black woman was trained to say a black man. It's true, she attack. And right now in Jamaica, you have a whole heap of youth that take care of them picnic. And it go unseen. Whole heap of youth. A whole heap of man in the evening, me say, some youth are walking, picnic them. When I say picnic them, I mean picnic them. One down in him and one on him side. So just like how you that's your mother. But the problem with it is that we get traumatized so much now. I mean, we are traumatized. We are traumatized by what is going on around us and in us. What is going on in us is more detrimental than what is going on around us. Because them say fear. The greatest fear is fear itself. The greatest fear is fear itself. You watch a movie and you see a man a walk, but just the music alone where them play in the movie, make you know say something terrible going to happen. How them get you to do that? How them get you to preempt the disaster or preempt the murder or preempt the destruction will take place before it even take place. Because there's a certain thing in you that develop and certain amino liquid, amino acid that rise up in you. It's like a cow. A cow knows that it go dead enough, so it unleash a certain poison in its system. So when you go eat that, you eat the poison because fear is a poison. And all we have fear in a way to the point where we preempt fear to the point where we get so traumatized. And sometimes the thought of fear is worse than the thing where going to happen itself. Yes, most of the time. Where you think can happen, less than where you think happen. So then you want to know, so when we did really act scared about, when we did frightened about, when we did fearful about. But in the Jamaican society, I know, none of we escape this fear, this trauma, this traumatic experience that is dangling over our head and over ourselves and over our brain and over our thinking. That we wonder, what next going to happen? What next going to happen? You drive late at night, you have to watch your car behind you. You reach your gate, you have to check your surroundings. First you just go in your yard and just all right. Place a bun long now, the grill them up on the door. You can't find the key because you're so excited. You want to run out of the house. The fire there, you blaze, and you want to run out of the place and can't find the key them. And you know where they put the key them, Because sometimes I'll look for something, And you know, say, put the something all in the bathroom. You got at the bathroom, go look for it. And they're right by your desk. Even the fear of can't finding your car key is a problem. Because you well want to go out and you know, say you put on your car key at a certain place, but you can't remember it and you try to figure out where you put the car key and you see the time ago. And you fear, say, boy, right now, if you don't reach that, so the whole situation where they develop over maybe 2-3 months, I go crash. So you build up a certain fear in you. And you have that acid penetrate you. Penetrate it till it reach your soul. You're deep down in your soul, it reach you. The fear of death is worse than death. The fear of death, because in death there's no fear. Death casts away all fear. But we still fear. Because man, I always say human being is the only species on earth when knows that them must dead. but get up every day and try prevent it. That is the irony of the human species. No say him go dead, but every day him get up, him try prevent it. And if him feel like say him go dead, him go at doctor go try prevent the death. Because them tell you, say, boy, sickness is a terrible thing. And we don't reach that level in our consciousness yet for use with thought and with meditation to wipe away all of those diseases. So we have to turn to herbs and medical this and medical that. And even just going to the doctor cause fear for your head. Because you go to the doctor and the doctor give you a prescription and when you look at it, you have so much money you start to get frightened, scared. Yeah, so where you get the money for do all of them things there? And people tell you, say, boy, money can't buy life. Money and make people live longer. And the lack of money make people go to the doctor and drop down dead because them can't afford to get the prescription filled. And them can't afford to take the operation. And them can't afford to send him family go to Miami and all these things to extend him life just a little bit longer. Fear is what people have when them look upon them loved one and look like the loved one that got dead. Where you love. That is where you look upon and you say, that is a fear. Terrible thing, that thing, fear. Fear was not the devil, believe you me. Fear was not the devil. But some people believe in a devil and get confused and mix up. Mix up is one hell of a thing. Like Donald Trump. Serious thing. I want you to listen to this. Changing the subject. I want you to listen to this because I tell you, we are going now, no funny, no easy. You know, early on, last year, them time, yeah, we are root. We are say, you know, say, I prefer Donald Trump win. Last year, them time, January now, yeah, we say, we prefer Donald Trump win the election, you know. Because Donald Trump winning are going to make a whole heap of blind people eye open to America, racism, bigotry, and all the things them that America was founded on. When them say we the people, it's not African people, it's not black people them that I talk about. Because them never see we as a total human being, 4/5 of a human being. So they never have no voting rights. When the so-called founding fathers of America write the Constitution, it's not African people. It's not the African them. But it's India's slaves, him that I talk about, or them that I talk about. And Donald Trump come now and show the true face of America. That people are wake up to a reality now where it's unbelievable. It's so real to them that them can't believe it. Say a man so outrightly racist and can be the president of the world according to America to themselves. And me look on Jamaica now and me I say Jamaica in a serious position economically. But then why would you sell your balls to somebody for economical wealth and power? And not even power, but just a laga behind. Why would you say a president just next door you ethnically cleanse the country of black people because them things say them black, them things say them white because them clearer than the people them who them are run out of them country? Why would our government hug up the president of that country when him a run out all the Asian them who never even go at 80 yet but have them parents living in a Haiti from in the 20s. Ethnic cleansing, them call it, but it don't sound like ethnic cleansing because history makes something look different from where it. go on so now. Because the same thing where in history happening so now, but people look on it and I say, no, it's not so bad. But sometimes it's worse. So we look how the president for that country, Dominican Republic we are talking about, come here. And some tourist business are going and them give him award. And don't even mention, not even mention. But look what I do to the Asian people. Then we look at the next thing where Donald Trump say, look here, me are going to make Jerusalem be the capital of Israel. Israel is not a state, you know. Israel is not a country. But he's going to make Jerusalem the capital. He's going to move him embassy and carry to Jerusalem. And the whole world have vote. Under the United Nations Charter, them have vote. And America, Donald Trump said, look you now. You say anybody will vote against me. Whoa. Hey, that's some serious thing that you know. And guess what? Jamaica abstain. Them no vote. Yet still, small little island them like St. Vincent. When we are called about the little island them, stand up firm and say, according to United Nations Charter, we have a right to say yes or no. So them not abstain. Them say no, them not agree with it. But guess what? Jamaica, who was the first country for ball out for sanction against South Africa during the apartheid regime, when England was the boss. Jamaica will give rise to Marcus Garvey, the father of Pan-Africanism. Jamaica will give rise to the Rastafari movement, the most militant and spiritual movement ever rise up in the Western world. Jamaica will give rise to reggae music. We put hope in our people all over the world. Jamaica say them now vote, them forever abstain because of the threat where them get. So we're going to all them country they know we vote. Where I tell me say no, them are going to suffer like dog. May I tell you, we lose. I don't know if it's balls or clicks we lose, but it look like the two of them. So, we have a government where lock in to a mentality that is not befitting the militancy and the spirit that was set there over the years since Paul Bogle, since Nani, since Taki, since Sam Sharp, since Rastafari. We stand up, we stand up strong. That people glories and say, yes, that little island there come like the capital of hope for people. But now, when we look for where we are going, murder all over the place. The politicians with the foot of people will start this. Them first bring in gun in the island to stay for power. And then we realize power corrupt, absolutely. And that is what we see now. The offshoot of this craziness when it starts from them time there. So we look at the youth, them now kill one another for clients according to them. And some are killed for turf, zinc fence. I don't know how man can live in a zinc fence with board house, catch up this and that, and a fight for that. The man them can buy them own gun now. So we have a government where claims say them are going to stamp down the crime stamp out the crime by starting something named Zozo, or whatsoever them soca me call it. Them have something now where genuinely, and them can't tell me nothing. Them sit down and them say, look here, we're going to create a policy where we're going to attack the place where we feel say most of the criminality we are going in a Montego Bay. Them are going to attack it because them want to bring down the crime. And them construct and restruct and redefine and define strategies to bring down the crime in Montego Bay. But them going to go it piece by piece. Them going to go to the worst place with criminality, which is Mount CLM. Which we get to understand, said, no, that wasn't like that. But them now go admit it. Them now go admit it. But we know, say, them intention was to lessen the crime in a Montego Bay, in a St. James. That is why them go to Mount CLM. So Mount CLM now is like heaven. And right round it is hell. And it get worse. That means that the thing where them set up fail. But them now go say it fail because them have said, but we can't have Mount CLM, no people can left them door open. That was the intention for make Mount CLM, people can make them door. The intention was to lower the crime in St. James and thus carried further into jump in other parishes. Lower the crime there. That is what they want. Lower the crime in St. James. It's like the man them say, lower which crime? I'm going to move from here and go. And the man them just red. But them now go say, that was them intention. Because every time them go and them do something wrong, them still a try, it's like you try to make wrong right. If you start out wrong, you can't get right in the end. You start the thing wrong in the beginning, you can't get right in the end. That is mathematics. Mathematics don't work that way. You have to start out right to get right. You can't start out wrong and get right. So it's a terrible thing we confront with. We confront with that set of people who them tell you someone, them start to believe it, and then the thing don't work, and them add more things on it. Murphy's Law don't go that way there. Murphy's Law don't go that way. And them if you understand that, then them have to just go up on the drive board and just come again. Just simple. And stop telling people them lie. And stop telling people them like so we are idiot. We don't know idiot. We know we are going in our own country. We know say the private sector is booming. Private sector boom. Money are run. One company make I say $15 later, man, I say more than 19. One company make $19 billion profit last year. $19 billion profit. So the private sector is booming, but the people them it's still in the same position or worse than where them start out for before them come here. We are telling about say you can't keep your door open, keep your door open. But tell the people them in a flank of that. But them a keep door open, keep his door open. People are trying to get a gun, people are trying to get more padlock, people are, hey, I go open a store selling, I sell metal to make burglar bar. Because I also never have burglar bar, I have to put on burglar bar on it. Guardsman must have beard, you know. It's just a simple thing. Them try a thing and it never work. Don't come tell the people them about the thing work. The thing work where? In CLM. CLM is a minute community. When I say minute, I mean minute community. It wasn't the worst place in St. James. It wasn't the worst place in St. James. It's a minute community that. But guess what? On the world stage, we lose certain respect. Just like how America loses its respect. So at the same time America loses its respect, we get respect too because we have a government with the PP clack clack. PP clack clack. So, we're going to play this.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
No. I was with him until he said the eternal capital of the Jewish people. President Trump has the right to make whatever foreign policy he wants, and if he feels that Miami Beach is best to recognize as the capital of Israel, that's his business, he can do it. But once he starts talking about the Jewish people, now he's encroaching upon religion, and now that's my domain. There is absolutely no political relationship between the Jewish people and Jerusalem. It's merely a holy city. The Jewish people don't have a capital. We never had a capital. Countries have capitals. States have capitals. That's the definition of a capital. Capital, dictionary, noun, the most important city or town of a country or region. Now, the Jewish people are not a country or region. The Jewish people are a religious community. We pray towards Jerusalem, but we relate to Jerusalem only as a holy city, not as a political capital city of the Jewish people. And all of those overtures that we make to Jerusalem and the yearning that Jews have for Jerusalem is only as a holy city, not as a capital city. And because it's a holy city, it doesn't matter who has sovereignty over it. Jerusalem is just as holy and just as much Jerusalem, whether it's under the auspices of the Turks or the Romans or the British or whoever. It's important to know that the Zionists were the ones that started this business of the capital of the Jewish people, and it's an idea that conflicts directly with the teachings of Judaism. At Mount Sinai in the desert, the Torah says, the Bible says about us, Hayom hazeh niyeh la'am. That's when we became a people. The Jewish people aren't a people because of a land. We're not a people because of a language. We're not a people because of a culture. We're a religion, and when we were deputized into the religion, when we accepted the religion given to us by God, that's when we became the Jewish people. We had no land, no territories, we had no capital city, and in fact, our commentators say the reason why God gave the Jews the Torah in the desert before they went into the Holy Land was in order to teach them that land, country, has nothing to do with your Jewishness. Your Jewishness is because you accept the religion. A couple of years ago, the Pope went to visit Netanyahu, and Netanyahu's bragging to the Pope, this is where Jesus lived, in this land, and he spoke Hebrew here. So the Pope corrected him. The Pope said, no, Aramaic. And Pope was right. Netanyahu says, yeah, but he understood Hebrew. Well, maybe he did, but Hebrew was never the national language of the Jewish people. It was a holy language, just like the land of Israel was a holy land. Oh, by the way, if you see the clip and you don't know which of the two people talking is Netanyahu and which is the Pope's the one wearing the yarmulke. Even if we were to pretend that the Jewish people have a capital, that would have nothing to do with whether Jerusalem should be the capital of Israel, because Israel's not the Jewish people. Israel has nothing to do with the old Jewish Commonwealth. It's a country that was created in 1948. When you hear the Israelis or the Zionists talk about how Jerusalem has a connection with the Jewish people for 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 4,000 years, it's all true, but that doesn't translate to, well, therefore Jerusalem has to be part of Israel. People think that Israel is some kind of continuation of the Jewish government, but it's not. It's a completely different form of government, completely different values, completely different ideology, and completely different people. These are not religious Jews that are running the country. These are atheists. And yet, the Israeli prime ministers from Ben-Gurion all the way up to Netanyahu use the Bible as an excuse for ownership of the land. Ben-Gurion, he says the mandate is not our Bible, but the Bible is our mandate. This is a man that didn't believe the Bible was given by God. He didn't believe God ever spoke to prophets. He didn't believe it at all. Neither does Benjamin Netanyahu. It says in the Bible, watch the Sabbath to keep it holy. Netanyahu doesn't refrain from work on the Sabbath. It says not to eat non-kosher food in the Bible. Does Netanyahu do that? No. There is nothing holy in the Bible that Netanyahu cares about. The only thing he cares about is his land. Restorationist Protestants, we call them evangelical Christians today, they existed hundreds of years before any Jewish Zionist was ever born. And because the evangelicals, the restorationists, had great influence in Britain, And Britain had the mandate. The Zionists very, very much adopted the Christian evangelical interpretation of the Bible, and that's what they use today. You'll find that Benjamin Netanyahu sometimes even espouses Christian evangelical interpretations of the Bible over the Jewish ones. A number of years ago, Netanyahu spoke at the site of the Auschwitz concentration camp, and he mentioned a prophecy in the book of Yechezkel about how the prophets saw dry bones rising from the ground and growing flesh and becoming live again. And Netanyahu said that that prophecy is fulfilled with the state of Israel, because the Jews were dry bones and now they grew flesh and they're real people again. This interpretation is not found anywhere in any Jewish source, because in Judaism, this is impossible. But for over a century, this has been a Christian evangelical interpretation. The Zionists, when they talk about the Bible, they're not talking about the Judaic version of Judaism and Jewishness. They're talking really about the Christian evangelical version. Netanyahu has no right to claim that his state is mine. I was born in America. My father was born in Poland. My mother's family is from England. We have nothing to do with Israel. We're Jews. We're observant Jews. We're religious Jews. I wear a yarmulke. Netanyahu doesn't. I keep the Shabbos. Netanyahu doesn't. And Israel is not my nation state in the slightest. This is a unilateral claim of the Israelis, of the Zionists, and it's an assault on my religion. So too, the claim that Jerusalem is the capital of the Jewish people because it transforms the Jewish people from a religious identity to a national identity, to a political identity. And it's an assault on my religion when Netanyahu says that because Jerusalem is so connected to the Jewish people, therefore it must be part of the state of Israel. Jerusalem's holiness, Jerusalem's value to the Jewish people has nothing to do with who owns it, and it certainly has no reason to be part of the state of Israel.
This is the Cutting Edge. I hope you are listening. I hope you are listening. Yes, I hope you are listening. So we're going to go to Pat Clark now with the feature, Jamaica Roots and Culture. Here goes.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. Modern-day Jamaica consists of only 14 parishes, each one being unique with its own interesting historical background. The parishes are grouped into 3 counties: Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. Have you ever wondered how some of these parishes got their names? We will tell you the story in our special series on the Jamaican parishes. The first parish under the microscope is Hanover. Jamaica's second smallest parish, Hanover, was established in 1725 and was named in honor of the reigning monarch on the British throne, George I, who was from the House of Hanover in Germany. Hanover's parish capital, Lucy, has been known by many names and it stretches along the western side of a horseshoe-shaped bay, which is considered to be one of the island's safest ports. From the hills overlooking Lucy Harbor, one can observe an expansive panorama of the bay. Similarly, the view from the Dolphin Head Mountain provides an extensive vista of the other parishes in the western side of the island. Hanover sometimes does not get credit for its beauty and charm and is often overshadowed by the nearby tourist destination of Montego Bay. Nevertheless, it shares the Negril Strip with its southern neighbor Westmoreland, and many of the rich and famous tiptoe into the parish at Round Hill Hotel and the Trial Beach and Country Club, thinking that they're still in Montego Bay. Geographically, Hanover rounds off the northwestern tip of Jamaica. It lies to the west of St. James and to the north of Westmoreland. The capital, Lucy, is situated on a beautiful harbor 25 miles west of Montego Bay and midway between Montego Bay and Negril. Numerous caves, coves, and bays mark the coastline of Hanover. From Hanover, we move to the parish of Westmoreland. Colonists named this parish Westmoreland in 1703 after the English took over the island from Spanish rule in 1655. Historians say the parish received its name because it was the most westerly on the island. Savannah-la-Mar, the capital, was developed as a port from which sugar was exported and dates back to around 1730. The Spanish name Savannah la Mar means plain by the sea and refers to its environment. One of the first Spanish settlements was also built at present-day Bluefields in this parish. The parish of Westmoreland boasts rain-fed fertile soils well suited for sugar cane. The town of Frome, located some 5 miles away from Savannah la Mar, is one of the few remaining sugar factories in the country. In 1938, riots at the Frome Sugar Estate changed the course of Jamaica's history. In the wake of these riots, the legislature passed universal adult suffrage in 1944, as well as a new constitution, which was approved by the Crown. This act put Jamaica on the road to self-government and eventually independence. The fertility and lush vegetation of the parish is greatly maintained by the various rivers and streams that are important sources of water. The popular Great Morass found in the parish is a large swamp area which covers thousands of acres. The wetlands common to the parish of Westmoreland serve as a natural sanctuary to Jamaica's wildlife. As we exit the parish of Westmoreland, we enter St. James. St. James was one of the second group of parishes formed in Jamaica and is said to have been named by Sir Thomas Modiford in about 1655 for the Duke of York, who later became James II and was a reigning monarch at the time. It was, however, much larger at the time, as it included what are now the separate parishes of Trelawney and Hanover. Remains of Jamaica's original inhabitants, the Taino, have been located along the coastal area of St. James. These early natives are now affectionately referred to as Fairfield people in honor of a site near to Montego Bay where characteristic examples of their pottery have been found. One of the main roadways used by the early settlers from Orriston in Westmoreland to an area around the Martha Brae River also passes through this parish, and many legends have been handed down about supposed treasures left behind by Spaniards. After the English conquest of the island, St. James remained somewhat sparsely settled, as the interior was inhabited by the Maroons, of whom the settlers were terrified, and the parish was some distance from Spanish Town, the then seat of government. Additionally, the parish capital of Montego Bay was witness to the final act of slave uprising in the island prior to emancipation. Known as the Christmas Rebellion of 1831-32, it began at Kensington Estate and engulfed the entire western section of Jamaica. Led by Baptist preacher and leader Samuel Sharp, this rebellion provoked 2 detailed parliamentary inquiries, which arguably contributed to the 1833 abolition of slavery across the British Empire. St. Elizabeth is one of the oldest parishes in Jamaica. Originally including much of the western section of the island, it was split to form parts of Westmoreland and Manchester in 1703 and 1814 respectively. St. Elizabeth was named in honor of Lady Elizabeth Modiford, wife of Sir Thomas Modiford, Governor of Jamaica, between 1664 and 1671. Early settlement in St. Elizabeth began in the Pedro Plains, where the Tainos, the first known inhabitants of the island, occupied the coastline and led a simple life. Though the original Tainos died by the 17th century, persons of Taino descent from Suriname came to settle in the parish in the 18th century, and their descendants are there today. When the Spanish were defeated in 1655, the slaves who did not manage to flee to Cuba retreated to the impenetrable cockpit country, which included parts of St. Elizabeth. Those fleeing slaves became known as the Maroons, and today St. Elizabeth remains home to the Maroons of Accompong, one of the most famous Maroon towns in Jamaica. Residents of St. Elizabeth also played an instrumental role in the Sam Sharp Rebellion of 1831. It is documented that about 20 to 40% of the slave population fought in that uprising. This little town of Black River, now the parish capital, can boast its popularity in the 19th and early 20th century as a fishing spot, colorful balls and banquets often held at courthouse, and its annual circus that attracted visitors from far and wide. Black River, among the oldest towns in the island, is reportedly the first to have received electricity. The Leyden brothers were among the earliest settlers in the parish, and they were said to have imported Jamaica's first motor car. The final parish we'll look at in the county of Cornwall is Trelawney. Established in 1770, the parish was named after William Trelawney, former governor of Jamaica. Trelawney is bordered by the parishes of St. Anne in the east, St. James in the west, and St. Elizabeth and Manchester in the south. Most of the parish is flat with wide plains such as Queen of Spain's Valley and Windsor. The highest point in the parish is Mount Eyre, which is 3,000 feet above sea level. Martha Bray was the first capital of the parish of Trelawney. Its history dates back to the days of the Spanish occupation and was supposedly the site of an old Spanish settlement. The town got its name from the Martha Bray River, which today is used for rafting and is a source of water for the north coast. Trelawney has pockets of rich culture indigenous to the parish. The southern section of Trelawney is a part of the Cockpit country and is uninhabitable. It is therefore a natural reserve for flora and fauna. Most of Jamaica's 27 endemic bird species can be found there, along with the yellow snake and the giant swallowtail butterfly, the largest butterfly in the Western Hemisphere. And now, to end Jamaican roots and culture, here is our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. Worldwide Black consciousness is a psychological reserve that can be mobilized to achieve local ends as well as aid others as the liberation process continues. For Jamaican Roots and Culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Yeah, that was very comprehensive. What the students them are listen. Yeah, very comprehensive. We love that. So we are going through the pieces. Right, we see where Grace Jones Grace Jones will appear in Kingston and Ocherios. Yes. I think they have a movie with her there. When they have feature too. So we have to watch out for that. We hope we can get her in the studio here. Long time we have tried to do an interview with Grace Jones. Okay, so we continue the journey. Yes, out the box, man. May I tell you, you have to think out of the box, you know. Because they have the whole of a box scene. So, we I tell you, say, by the way, you know that thing about the Jewish thing a while ago. You know, say the second time I hear a Jew say, most Jews is atheists. Yes. The second time I hear the saying, and the two time I hear it was coming from two Jews too. Most Jews are atheists. So all you hear them talk about Jews in Israel and all them something there. We have to know the truth, you know, because the truth set you free. That you don't have to have certain fear in you. As we are talking about the subject and the subject of fear. Some people afraid of truth. You know, you tell them, because them hold on upon something for years, and them come hear something out of the box. Them can see what you say, and them understand what you say, and them know so what you say, I saw it go. But if you choose them at the thing all long now from Oye, them now give up the madness. So we look on the religion them, and we see say the man them a fight over religious beliefs and persuasions and a control people and in the name of them religion. Yes, because the Israeli and the Arab man are fighting one another for them land. And if you go in the Bible to you realize you're not for them land neither. If you really check what the Bible say, Abraham come from the Ur of the Chaldees and God said, give him a land flowing with milk and honey, who land him give him. And the land of Canaan. And according to them, Canaan is the son have them. So how them come and claim the land now and say God give them the land. That is how the thing go. But we know different. We know different. Every man have a land. Every people belong to a certain portion of land. That is how the creation set up. Just like how you have hog pen. You know, see it, have cow go in a hog pen, go a walla in a mud. You know, see it. You have different things for different things. We as African people give away Africa. We give away Africa because when we come on here, them lick it out away, beat it out away, thump it out away, box it out away, kick it out away, kill it out away. So all of we now, we start to say we are this and we are that, but we not say we are African. Fluffy, what are you doing now? Okay, all right. Beat it out of me, Fluffy. And the Fluffy come inside, I know. All right, so the way the thing go, now, we have to look on it. We have to seriously take another look at Africa. And people here we are saying this over and over and over. But here now, it's in time them now hear the voice, and them now hear this and them now hear that. At that time, them will take it serious. Yes, we have to really revisit our ideas and concepts that govern our thinking as it comes to the idea of Africa. So we will play about this show out the box. Not an easy road to go to travel down still. This is the cutting edge. We're trying to use the airwaves to awaken the conscience and the consciousness of the people. And we have been doing this a very long time, and we give thanks to all the people them who heed to the call still. And really, it make a difference in them life. We give thanks for that. All the youth them out there, we say, boy, Muta, yes, cutting edge. We give thanks for that. So we know say the work is not in vain. Not in vain. If it was in vain, they would have taken a long time. Because they would have said nobody now listen. But we know some people are listening even though it don't feel lonely inside that. So like we are talking to the microphone and I wonder if anybody out there listen. But it's when we go out there, when we're there in a big area with whole heap of thousands of people, we can see say it really reach and penetrate. So we give thanks to the people then. Very, 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 very thankful for your listenership over the years. You could be doing something else, but you're here with me, day in, day out, night in, night out. Yeah, man, you could have the somewhere else, yes? All the people could have the somewhere else. We're sorry for the man them who, well, I'm not sorry for them still. Who them have to know say boy tonight a Muta night when it come on to them lady. Lady, we man tell me say boy Muta, me I tell you the truth, you know. You have me away a Wednesday night time because my lady can't come out for you at, well, should I say come wrong word not to say, but I don't know the wrong word say boy Muta, my wife can't come out for you Wednesday time, you know. I do have a chance. You understand? But we know say it's for the real thing. It's a reality. It's a reality, and we love how it go. We love how it go. So we give thanks to that. So here we have to know. The time is 12 o'clock, midnight in Jamaica. Yeah. So as we have said, we are giving you information, and you must know where you want to do it. Where you want to accept, where you want that way. We just give the information.
My name is Daniel Bushell. Class action lawsuits filed against cell phone manufacturers. Coming up.
Insurers refuse public liability for cell phone use. The warning buried deep inside your mobile. And the next casualty catastrophe after tobacco and asbestos.
I would hold my cell phone here, and the tumor was right there.
I always held it on my right side, right here. The industry should have put these warnings on. They told us a long time ago.
Professor Darius Lashinsky is one of the world's leading radiation biologists and brave. He knew phone manufacturers would try to end his career for printing groundbreaking research proving cell phones do cause biological damage. Professor Leshinsky joins us. Great to see you. How did the industry react?
So far, I think I didn't experience any smear campaign. But in my case, it was just that the industry used the influence to prevent funding of my research projects.
Studies like Professor Leshinsky's now allow top neurosurgeons to issue a stark cell phone warning.
It's essentially cooking the brain.
Ellie Marks' husband, Alan, suffered serious memory loss after years of using a mobile. At 2 a.m. one night, he had a massive seizure. Surgeons found a tumor the size of a golf ball right where he held the phone. Ellie, thank you so much for joining us. Why are you and so many others suing the industry?
There's many others that are already deceased from this, that are dying from this, younger than my husband. There's some as young as 28 who are deceased, and their neurosurgeons actually told them that it was probably their cell phone use. We had about 20 cities and states that wanted to legislate as San Francisco had, and they were all threatened with lawsuits by this industry.
This is a photo of Brett Bocock's brain. The top quarter responsible for body balance has had to be removed after surgeons found this vast tumor right where he held the phone. A US national rowing champion. Now he can barely move. Brett, great to speak to you. Tell us about the class action lawsuit against the phone industry.
The only way you can really educate the public against big business is through lawsuits. It wasn't until the district attorneys in the United States sued and got involved and sued the cigarette industry that there was they had to pay millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for public education as to the dangers of smoking. That's what's going to happen with cell phones. It's just unequivocal, categorical that these things cause cancer. And it's also, they don't want you to know that. This is on the same trajectory as smoking, because if you look at smoking in the 60s, they had doctors coming on TV and on print saying, hey, smoke Marlboro or smoke this brand because it's good for your cough.
And see how well Camels agree with your throat. A Winston, America's best-selling, best-tasting filter cigarette.
More dangerous for children because their schools are a lot thinner. At least you can't buy cigarettes unless you're 18. But you can go, a 5-year-old could go and buy a phone.
Phone manufacturers' young children are targeted. There are now working cell phones even for babies.
The Glow phone is for kids maybe 5 to 8, and the Fly phone is for tweens.
Samantha Miller's funeral was on her 18th birthday. Phone use through childhood first gave her headaches, reports the Daily Mail, then the brain tumor that killed her. In the West, brain tumors have overtaken leukemia, notes Senator Lynn Allison, as the #1 child killer illness. But doctors warn that's the tip of the iceberg. Clinical studies find young men who keep phones in their pockets have much lower chances of producing offspring, while women often store them on their chest.
I would just tuck it right in to my bra.
Tiffany France got breast cancer aged just 21, right where since childhood she's stored her phone. These spots mark the areas of Donna James's cancer. Her doctors call this a new breed of distribution that exactly matches where women keep their phone.
It's very unusual pattern where these multiple small cancers were confined to the upper inner aspect of the breast. And so I've never seen anything quite like this.
This is a radiation detector in normal surroundings, around 30 microvolts meter. Microwave ovens reach 800 microvolts. Wi-Fi routers use the same radiation technology. Loading a film on a tablet PC reaches 2,000. Some of the world's best-selling smartphones register over 1,000 times above normal levels. Insurers have in fact stopped covering cell phone manufacturers for public health. Insurance firms privately call cell phones the next public casualty catastrophe after asbestos and cigarettes. Phone manufacturers have now quietly inserted a legal disclaimer. On iPhones, you have to go to Settings, General, About. At the bottom, scroll down to Legal, and at the end, RF exposure, radio frequency exposure. Unlike most pages, the small print here can't be enlarged, but it reads, carry iPhone at least 10 millimeters away from your body. At the same time, the industry says all its studies show phones are perfectly safe.
Radio waves from cellular phones are safe.
Conflict of interest. Harvard ethics professor Lawrence Lessig calls industry-paid studies which consistently conclude phone radiation is harmless. Independent scientists, meanwhile, overwhelmingly find the most serious problems, from DNA damage, 3 times lower sperm counts, 290% more brain tumors, autism, and birth defects. Former senior White House advisor and leading epidemiologist Dr. Deborah Davis has testified to Senate on the subject. She joins us. Great to see you. How do you explain the completely opposite findings between industry and independent studies?
Anytime there was independent research, what industry would do was 3 things. First, they would go attack the scientists who had done the studies. They would try to get them fired, they'd try to get their funding taken away, or they would fraud. Then when that didn't work, they hired other scientists who knew nothing about the field to do studies that looked like they were replicating the other studies, but they really weren't. And when all of those things failed, they wrote a memo in which they said, if the cellular industry done its job, we think war gamed the science. That's a quote. War-gamed the science. Now, science is not a matter of war, not a matter of games. We're deadly serious about our health and that of our children.
Wargaming reveals this leaked Motorola email is industry-paid studies purely for reassuring the public.
We have sufficiently wargamed the issue.
A sting has exposed how easy it is to get phony studies in print. Posing as a serious scientist, John Bohannon sent in a paper full of schoolboy errors, offering payment for publication. Incredibly, more than half the journals in these countries all around the world published it, even lying to the public that the study had been peer-reviewed. Investigative journalist Anthony Gucciardi has broken numerous health scandals. Great to see you. Surely big business wouldn't fake studies to put millions of lives at risk. Do we have documented precedents?
This is exactly like Eli Lilly, which in the 1980s knew that Prozac was leading to suicides and aggressive behavior, the exact opposite effect of what they wanted. They knew that in the 1980s after they conducted the research. They hid the research, and it wasn't exposed until 2005 from the BBC. But then they would have their corporate interests do studies and talk about how great it was. Now, of course, they're required to admit, the antidepressants do cause suicide, aggressive behavior. Pretty much every shooter is on them. When these cell phone companies are forced to admit, the cell phone radiation does cause brain tumors, it does do all this. And they're already saying this in their manuals. So it's already coming out. But once the public is aware of this fact, it will be even worse. Antidepressants. It will be even worse than tobacco.
We invited the powerful industry lobby CTIA to discuss the issues raised in this report. They sent this one-line refusal.
Thank you for contacting us, but we will not be able to do this interview.
The industry's most respected journalist is Dr. Louis Slessin, editor of Microwave News since 1981. Louis, great to speak to you. There seems to be a parallel universe, what the industry says and everyone else.
The whole system is broken. People are not being told the truth. It's crazy. It's easy to say we made a mistake on tobacco after we know that tobacco is killer. The point is to take action.
Actions being taken outside the US. France is moving schools back from Wi-Fi to cabled internet. Countries from Germany to Israel and Finland are moving to stop cell phone sales to kids. But Obama just made industry chief lobbyist Thomas Wheeler head of the regulator itself, the FCC. A former administration official calls it another...
This is the cutting edge. Continue the journey. Here we go. This is the cutting edge, and I refer as we tell you, say, we are getting information. When you want to do it, it is your business. You understand? We're up on radio. Radio, they have to inform, educate, and make you feel happy also. Where there's no happiness, we bring joy. Where there's lack of understanding, we bring wise man. So, listen to this.
On a public level. But I want to give you this final thing. I'm done. I did something different in this message that I'm going to mention to you in a moment. I did something different. But how many people here have cell phones? If you got your cell phone, raise your cell phone. Get your cell phone. Pull it out. Pull out, raise it. I want to see everybody got a cell phone. Throw your cell phone up in the air. Wave it like you just don't care. You got your cell phone. Look at all these cell phones up in here. Oh, who y'all calling in the choir? That's what I want to. Jesus is on the main line. Got your cell phone. The cell phones that we have, in order for those cell phones to be produced, most of the cell phones that we have, you need a mineral called coltan. A mineral called coltan. Much of this mineral comes from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Congo was at one time was a Belgian colony. In 1960, they declared their independence, and a gentleman by the name of Patrice Lumumba became prime minister. Patrice Lumumba went to Ghana and sat at the feet of the father of Pan-Africanism named Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah is our school down the street is named after the father of Pan-Africanism. And when he realized, sitting down with Kwame Nkrumah, he could go back to the Congo and the Congo could grow and develop. But because there was so much money at stake, because the majority, one of the richest countries on the planet is the Congo. The Belgium and the U.S. government, it was Dwight Eisenhower, got with the National Security Office, and they said that this man needs to be eliminated, and they passed information to the rebel forces in the Congo, and they found Patrice Lumumba, and they assassinated him. And then a gentleman by the name of Mobutu became to power, and the U.S. gave him over $300 million to oppress his own people, to make sure gold and silver and coltan would continue to flow to Europe and the United States and Australia. And then in 1997, when Mobutu died of cancer, there was another person who came to power by the name of Kabila. And Kabila then eventually died, but a civil war ensued. And in order to finance the civil war, because cell phones were exploding at that time, they would mine coltan. Doesn't seem like much, but in order to, this cell phone you have, the cell phone I have, it has coltan in it. In order to get that coltan, they would kidnap children to mine the coltan in the Congo. In the last 10 years or so, 5.4 million children have been murdered in the Congo. 5.4 million people, have been murdered in the Congo. Almost 50% of them children. That every time you purchase your cell phone, you finance the oppression of a child, of a country. And there was a particular law that was attempting to be passed in the U.S. Congress that kept dying. It was called the Conflict-Free Coltan Law. So that no company in the United States could receive coltan from the Congo or any other area where children are being used, where it was being financing a civil war, where murder was going on, all of that. And this war that is going on, 5.4 million people. Let me explain it this way. In World War II, 400,000 people died. In the Civil War, 500,000 people. 5.4 million people. Larger than any other conflict, any other war since World War II. More people have died in the Congo than any other conflict in the last 40 years combined. But no one has heard a thing. Because it's happening in Africa, in the Congo, and there's so much money at stake. Coltan. So this is what we are asking. I did this last week. We are simply asking that you would do three things. Number one is that there is a letter that we passed out today that connects with this. That you would sign that letter so that it can go to Dick Durbin so that they can pass this law. The second thing is every Wednesday every single Wednesday from 12 to 1 and 7 to 8. Here's something that is a novel idea. Turn off your cell phone. I mean off, no, not on vibrate. Turn it off and put on your voicemail why you have turned it off. Why you have turned it off, to educate people about coltan. We're calling this Don't Be a Sellout campaign. CELL. Don't be a sellout, to finance the oppression of our own people. You're not going to see this on CNN. They will not broadcast it on MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Lord knows Fox ain't going to say a word. 5.4 million children, children who are 8, 9, and 10 years of age, who are being used to mine with their bare hands so you can text and play Angry Birds. And here's what you can do. I gave you 2 things. The third thing is simply this. Do not upgrade your cell phone. There's some other phones. He said, he's about to have a whole... He said, he's about to pass out. In the name of Jesus. Do not upgrade. Because what do you want to get a new feature that you don't use anyway. So you can just say you got the new phone. But remember now, every time you purchase, because they're used in new cell phones. I'm not talking about the landline phones you have at your house. The cell phones, you are promoting the death of children in the Congo. Just by buying a cell phone. The cell phone you have, can it make a call? Then that's what it's for, right? Amen. You got all this other stuff. You trying to videotape, get a video recorder if you want that. You buy that. But simply do not upgrade your cell phone so that we can begin to pressure companies to let them know that we cannot stand for this kind of activity. Choose life.
Yes, Cutting Edge. There with you. As I say, we will give you the information. What you do with it is up to you. Well. Yeah, blessed.
Man, I just want to show up and listen to things. So, I say, I call you up and make sure I listen up. No. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear what you say. What you say?
On the show, listen to thing, man, and I have to call and make you know, say, I go and listen up, because you don't know, so I have to hear it, don't?
All right, give thanks, brethren, give thanks.
You look up, brethren, man, just fire.
Yeah, I know how, man.
If you pick up my voice, man.
Well, it never drop.
You good, no?
Eh? Yeah, man, I'm a good man. You good? Okay, I know your voice drop.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, but you see, I asked me if all right, yeah, man, me hear you. Where you at now?
I am blessed up there, man. Everything.
All right, give thanks, brethren. Give thanks.
Yeah, man.
Highly, yes. So, finally, before we start get the wild call, them, we could start off the wildness with a little clip or so, on a lighter side. You understand? Yes. On a lighter side, you know. You want to hear this? Hear this.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach Mr. Is this Mr.
Yeah,
This is Benjamin Dixon. Trevor is my son. He goes to school with your son. Now,
yeah.
He went to a birthday party that your son had last weekend. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I understand.
You're right.
I have a problem with you, Mr. because I understand that you all are Jamaican and from Jamaica, but listen, you guys serve the children curry goat. You don't serve kids curry goat. Everybody's child doesn't eat curry goat. Pete, what happened to ice cream and cake and punch and maybe even a pizza at a birthday party for kids? But curry goat? That's out the question.
You mean? I don't understand what you're talking about. You mean me not feed the kids them curry goat? Me feed them anything. What you talking about, brethren?
Say what?
What you talking about? Oh, you mean you have a problem with me? Oh, you have a problem with me?
I got a problem with any parents who decides on their own that somebody else's child, it's okay to feed them some curry goat. My child don't eat no goat. We eat chicken. We eat steak. We eat cow. We don't eat curry goat.
Yo, him eat it at a birthday party though. Eh? Him eat it at a birthday party. And why you mad? If you would have told me that you some too. So rude boy, no call me with your anger and a go on and a rumble for me, you know, brethren. Because you don't know who you are dealing with, you know.
Okay, I need you to slow it down for me, man. I ain't understanding nothing you saying.
You can't tell me to slow it down. You call me and I go, so you can't tell me to slow it down. On my phone you calling up.
Look, man, all I'm saying is this is disrespectful to the child, to people's parents. You're going out on your own liberty deciding on what you're going to feed somebody. You got to feed them normal stuff. You can't do that. Kids, birthday parties here in the States, man, it's pizza, it's ice cream, it's cake, it's punch. That's it. Hot dogs, maybe, but not no damn curry goat.
Man, you run this show, brethren. Don't tell me what to do. Eh? You run this. So you come tell me about disrespect. You disrespect me, I call my phone.
I'm not disrespecting you by calling your phone. I want to know why it is you doing something like this. And I bet you these other parents don't know you've been serving goat.
Yo, kiss man. Who the you is? Hey, you want to meet me? I'm sure you who Galavan father is. Eh? How come tell me no bull? Eh?
You want to?
Hungry. Who you, brethren? Who the hell is you? Eh? I don't know you from Adam Bridge and I come talk on my phone and kind of with it. Yo, you know who the can't deal with? You just have me man just sprinkle up now, you know.
You want to meet me somewhere? Is that what you want to do?
Me meet you, brethren. Me meet you right now. You understand me? Me brethren. You don't know who you're dealing with, you know. Enough big time me dealing with, you know.
You're going to make me hurt you, man. If I come over there, you're going to make me hurt you. You hear me? And I mean this, man. Now, I called you because I'm a concerned parent about my child, and then you got a nerve to tell me you're the one that's in the wrong.
Yo, man, me not wrong, brethren. Me not wrong. You understand me? So come tell me, he's a big man, you know. Now come tell me about me not wrong. You and wrong to call my phone. Yo, just tell me where you there now, and me come meet you, and me will feed you some curry goat, you and your family, and yo, and you can't just leave me alone.
You ain't finna feed my family. No, you don't bring my family in this, man. You don't bring my wife and my kids into nothing. You hear me?
I give your wife, your auntie, your mama, and everybody, grandmama. So come tell me
I got one. You know what, man? I'm gonna tell you. I got something I want to tell you. You listening?
I ain't got to tell me, man.
This is Nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. You just got pranked by your sister Patsy.
R.E.F.M. Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka.
It's ill.
Hello.
Blessed.
Blessed no, sir.
Wait a man.
We enjoy this from Donna Center.
You have to talk louder, do you know?
We enjoy this from Donna Center. Yeah, so what I want to express to you and the rest of the island, the rest of black nation and black people. Some of us are being paid millions of dollars to suppress one another. You hear me? I said, it's not just about the digging up of these minerals, the cell phones and stuff. And it's most black youths out there support them thing there, buying up the cell phones and the upgrades and things. But what is important is that there's another black brother out there being paid millions of dollars to suppress his own people. Then you understand me? And that is to be taken into consideration by all black people all over the world. And at the Congo, them go free land and I do already. You see?
Yeah, yeah, man.
So ones and ones out there who are listening, they need to get in touch with organizations that's putting out positive vibes to uplift we the black people of the world. I'm saying, I take it into consideration that we can't allow people to appear with no farm amount of money to suppress with one another.
All right, sir.
One love.
Give thanks.
Black people to the world.
I did.
Yeah, bless up Muta.
Blessed man.
Yeah, bless up you and the Irish family. Thanks for your operator. Yeah, I have one point to more ask.
Yeah.
One question. Like how them say, the weed thing, when a man charge for weed, it no add to, what you call it?
Criminal record.
Criminal record.
Yeah. You get that ticket.
Them exempt it, or you have to go in and do it.
No, well, it depends on how much them fine you with still.
No, man, I'm smoking.
Oh, yeah, no, well, if you are smoking, them not going to lock you up for smoking it.
No, man, I talk about it happened already, Muta.
Them lock you up because them find you smoke herbs?
Yeah, charge me then.
Which part?
Long time, man.
Eh?
Long time.
Oh, long time. Like how long ago?
From 2001.
Yeah, well, that time it is illegal.
Right. So me say if them automatically exempt it.
Yeah, them wipe it off of your slate.
Okay.
It's supposed to wipe off of your slate.
Alright.
Yeah, them call it expunging your record.
Yeah.
Yeah, why you want to go Canada? Eh? Oh, I'm gone. I'm here when I'm here. Come like you want a visa and I'm up. Still.
Hey, Muta.
Yeah, blessed.
Wagwan.
Cutting Edge.
Well, I'm still can say a few things from the Bible, my boss.
Yeah, man, everything you want to say, you know. As long as you don't say some of the beautiful Jamaican words, them.
All right, hear me now. May I read from the book of Jeremiah 14 and verse 2, you see?
Okay.
This is what the prophet Jeremiah said. Judah mourneth, and the gates there have languished. They are black unto the ground. So Jeremiah the prophet tells us here clearly that the people of Judah which means Jews, right? The people of Jerusalem are black unto the ground. Now we are going to the New Testament. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14. For it is evident, the word evident means proof, that our Lord sprang from Judah. Revelation chapter 5 verses 5. Behold, the conquering lion from the tribe of Judah. And Jeremiah made us clear that our Lord sprang out of Judah, and the people of Judah are black. Acts 13 verse 1. Simon Peter was called nigger. Job chapter 30 verses 30. Job said that my skin is black upon me. Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verses 6. Solomon said that I am black but comely, beautiful. Verses 6. Look not upon me because I am black. You understand? So I am going to tell you this, Muta. I am from the Gathering of Christ Church, right? I would have met you the other day. It's a matter of fact. It's the same police guy that met you. You understand? Down in Montego Bay. And I'm going to tell you this, Muta. We have the history beyond any reasonable doubt, my brother, that we are the children of Israel from the tribe of Benjamin. We have the proof. You understand? And brother, you are a great brother that have been waking up the people, and you are one of the people that have led me to the knowledge of the truth. And I'm telling you, brother, we have the truth. And all of those, and what this is what they did to us, over 100 years before they let us free, so-called freedom. This is what they did. Divide the people, using their own Bible to divide them. You understand? We have the knowledge of the truth, and we know who me be. I am no longer enslaved to the system. We are the people of the Most High, brother.
All right.
And the people need to know that 1,360 years we have been dwelling in the land of Africa. We're the same people that built Africa, flee in Africa from Jerusalem, lived in Africa for over 1,300 years. You understand? We're the heathen, you understand, decided to what? Brought up some conspiracy against the Most High people. And we are the same people that they sold to the same Grecians.
So, brethren,
yeah.
If we are the, where is the chosen of
Israelites according to Bible.
No, you say we are the chosen of God, that's what you say.
Yeah, man, the Most High people.
So the Chinese people them and the Indian them are chosen of who?
Brother, look here, Jamota, if you have 100 shirts, there's one where you will choose,
No, man, I never say enough to choose where you choose. I ask you, if we are the chosen of God, the Chinese and the Indian, them, the Arab, them, who are the chosen of what?
Brother, what me I going to say to you? You see, if you're going to the Bible, it tells us clearly, brother. Like,
all right, we're going to the Bible and tell me what the Bible says about the Chinese, them.
Brother, these people are heathen, brother.
The Chinese.
However, they
which part of the Bible tells you the Chinese are heathen?
Look at they have a place in the kingdom, brother. I'm not saying that.
Where in the Bible it said Chinese is heathen?
Read Joel 9.
No, you read it, man. You have the Bible in front of you, man. I don't have no Bible in front of me.
Brother, it's telling you that in the book of Joel.
No, wait, no, man. Wait, no. Me never say it, never did it, you know. Me say, read it. That me can't hear. Where you laugh at?
Joel 9 and 11, brother. Amos 9 and 11, brother.
Me say you for read it.
That the Most High will give us the remnant of Edom. You understand? And
Edom? Which part Edom there? Which part Edom there?
Brother, Edom is the so-called man or you call white, brother. Right?
No, man. Edom, you don't know which part Edom there?
Motor, you still not hear me, no?
No, you say Edom is where you call white. Me know which part Edom there. You don't know where Edom there. Me ask you. Tell me which part of the Bible tell you say the Chinese is Eden. Tell me.
Mutabaruka.
What?
Listen, man, the Most High.
Don't repeat my name, man, because you so call me Eden too. Tell me which part of the Bible tell you say the Chinese is Eden.
Muta, me call over there and Mr.
Brethren, you go around, you not answer what me I say. You answer what me I ask, you not answer. Me could talk about car. Yeah, what God say about car?
What the Most High say about car?
Yeah, and computer.
You tell me, no,
you bring the Bible to me, and you bring the Bible to me, you know.
But no.
You tell me, say, we black people is the chosen of God. I may ask you a simple question. What God, to the Chinese and the Indian them and the Arab them, how them see them? Them as what? Them is chosen of what?
No, what I am saying to you is that the Most High say every Eden who is called by his name. So
I ask you, which part of the Bible say Chinese is Eden?
The Bible say all the heathen. So if you're not,
no, I'm asking you. So if he's not black, he's a Eden.
I am not saying that, my friend.
What you saying? What you saying?
Because we have people who are part of the diaspora of Israel who I wouldn't say are black skin, because the Bible tells us clearly that what? Ephraim is a cake and turn. So
you know which part Ephraim there? You know which part Ephraim? Who was Ephraim?
Ephraim was the king over the 10 tribe, brother.
Ephraim and Manasseh. No, it's two people named so. It's two people, just like the person named Israel.
Ephraim and Manasseh, the two sons of
all right, so may I ask you again? One more time. One more time, may I ask you. Which part of the Bible tell you say the Chinese is Eden?
Brother, the Bible.
All right, you know answer me. So you want to know, me gone. You hear, brethren? Me gone. Yes. Okay, so them have a thing straight.
Muta.
Blessed man.
The light of Jamaica.
What the light there?
Are you, man?
Why in your dark rotty? Anyway, go and talk.
I lie you a tell.
All right, sir.
Muta,
go and talk.
The guns, Montego Bay, the government of Jamaica is not serious about removing gun out of the society, you know. I was reading the paper today and they say, well, that some judge in Montego, them just slapping the people, them easy for the guns. They them find the guns, and just give them a little fine.
Fine, I make them go on.
Yes. How them going to get rid of crime?
Well, you say them should have used anybody or them catch as example.
Them for make Jamaicans see gun and afraid of like push through the water. Yeah. And Grenada record his first homicide like yesterday. For the year.
Grenada.
And them are the chosen people. Me not care what nobody say.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Yes. You know what can sweet me with Jamaican people? You say if a hurricane come and it pass, them say, that's why it's say Jamaica blessed, you know. But guess what, though? It tear down a country across the road there. And I don't know where them are saying now, if Jamaica bless, because a hurricane don't lick it, and it go lick Dominica, it go lick Puerto Rico, What you would have to say about them people there? Them curse.
them no easy.
Well, I tell you, them no easy, Rasta. I say, no, hurricane come and swipe for 80. Swipe part of Cuba, go lick certain place. And it no lick Jamaica people say, boy, we bless. So the other people them what? The other people them curse.
Yeah,
but we here one now. Wait now. I don't know. Here one now. You see when the hurricane lick Dominica, you know, you're nobody dead, you know. A pure building match down. You see when the gunman them start fire shot at Jamaica and man start chop up people, hundreds of people dead. So which part of the blessing there? That is all traumatized now. Where the blessing there?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tell the government to take off the gun off the street. Muta, you're the light of the world.
Me?
Respect.
No, don't tell that to the car, they will come crucify me.
God in you and you in God.
Yes.
So it's here.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, sir.
Respect.
Blessed man. I tell you.
Yeah.
Heal Mutabaruka.
Blessed man.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, and Muta, keep on keeping up the good work where I go on with. You know what I mean? I can't thank you enough for the work where I go on with.
Yeah.
You know, because we need more people like you.
Yeah.
And I want the people to know, say, for them killer where them hug up and hide, him and make somebody else and the next set of people miserable. So pick and choose what we want to do. And we have to see our pain in our next man and our next man pain in our we.
Of course. That's how we have to see it.
Have to see them thing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to love with little island because ultimately yard is yard.
We are in this thing together.
You understand?
We have to work it out, man.
Everywhere we go all over this world, as African people, maka joke with. You understand?
Yeah.
So what me suggest is that we should try and form a coalition amongst like-minded countries like we. You understand?
Yeah.
Because them austerity program when IMF are giving it not going to work.
It can't work. Then let's say never did that work from them time and still not work now.
Because it don't make it work. IMF set up after the Second World War to help out the European country them.
Yes.
It's not going to work.
No, sir, definitely
It
not.
wasn't designed
It has never worked. It has never worked.
Know, but Adam Smith himself, the man, when they tell America for use the austerity program, they say, no, this country was built on protectionism. You have to protect your own industry and keep out certain things out of your country in order to build your economy and promote your local things.
Yeah, man.
You understand? And I big up my brother in Firebar. Me and him have a good conversation one night this week, yeah. And I tell you, say, Rastafari are one of the ways we can help out Jamaica out of the situation we're in. I am a Rasta, you know, but I see it because I see the liberty that Rastafari have a dietary thing in them concept. Them have a education, way of life, and you know,
spirituality that define them. Yes,
spirituality that the whole thing. And then most of the Rasta them don't know what them have. Because sometimes you see some Rasta get themselves caught up in some little silly thing. You know what I mean? You know, forget caught up in them thing there. Because I look for some of the man them and I look up to some of the man them. And, you know, Muta, but me I tell you, say, you see you, you're one of the outstanding brother them. Because I follow you on Instagram, you know. I love you.
So I'm going to stop take phone call if people are going to call me and tell me all these things. I'm going to stop take phone call, you know.
No, Muta, Muta.
I take the phone call and everybody I talk about Muta you this and Muta you that. I'm going to stop take phone call, brethren.
No, man, Muta, why you keep on keeping on, you know what I mean?
Tell me that I'm a dream.
I big up my brethren them out of East Kingston, they are Harville and Baton. One the youth them just understand, say, if we mash up what we have.
Yes. We match up yourself too. We're going to match up yourself too. All right, Gabriel, give thanks.
Yeah, that's one love.
Yes. But you know, as you talk about business, you know, so the greatest, I don't know if another man did recognize it as such, But may I tell you, say, the greatest thing, that's why I mean, say Jamaican people, given opportunity, they will know if we find them way out. They just want the right opportunity, you know. Because we have a way for detect things. Although we're not going to a big school, you know. You know, the greatest thing me ever say, amongst Jamaican and what you call entrepreneurship and opportunity, is done a Rebel Salute. Rebel Salute, 2 days, rain and fall. And everybody on there with them nice shoes and them this shoes and that shoes, you know. And one somebody just, I don't know where them get the idea from, if you just say, watch you know, scandal bag. We're going to start sell scandal bag. Those scandal bag sell for about $10, you know. I don't know, for those of you who never did it, let me tell you what's going on down there. Rainfall, the place mud up. Well, it not really mud up like how some spots use some mud up. Can you remember when some spots use some mud up? Because over there have grass. But the place wet and muddy. You know, everybody come out of them nice shoes. I see how people down there in white shoes. Fortunately, me did not have no shoes. So I just feel the mud between my toe of them and feel nice. Anyway, I see somebody take some scandal bag and start sell them as covering for your shoes. So the scandal bag moved from $10 to $100 each. $100 each for a scandal bag. Hey, you know how much money that person they go home with? Them not have hand for sell scandal bag because everybody want to cover them shoes. This way you look on the premises, everybody walk around with scandal bag over them shoes. And that me call entrepreneurship. And that me call where you see opportunity. You're looking at the community and you say, this is what needed, and you just move towards it. And hey, you can just imagine if I was all 5 days that I go on and rain and fall for 5 days. Oh, scandal bag with that. I mean, I think boy, me love it. Me love it. Them should have sell the scandal bag for $1,000 too. And people that buy it because them prefer them shoes than them prefer the why? My brethren only have our white shoes. And me I tell you, say, believe you me sorry for him. Him look, he's on a red mud too. Like look at St. Elizabeth, where it red, with backside mud. But if them just tell you $1,000 or $500, one should have buy it. Just like the people them when the airport block. The airport block. And people want to go to the airport and bike man come on there and say opportunity. Him just say, watch you now. $500 for go down at the airport, you know, from gunboat, go right down at the airport, $500 me a charge, you know. And people just pay that. One woman go in the airport and take out $500, the way she young just go back to England, she take out $500 US and give one bike man. One bike man say make how much, must say, one man say make 11 trip at $500 on him bike. And that me call seeing what is needed in the community and move towards it, and so you can make money and fight. So tell me, say Jamaican people, this and Jamaican people that. We know how to turn around and make fashion. It's just the opportunity. And that is what government did if you do. Government did if you make things available that the people them can come out of them poverty. Kind of beg them want beg, you know. You think most people don't have nothing to beg them want beg them way out of it. No, them want to work to do certain things. But because them release the chain and still hold the brain. And that them do. Release the chain and hold the brain. Hell.
Muta.
Yeah, blessed.
Yeah, man. You know, some people pay as much as $500 US to go to the airport.
No, let me just say $500 US, brother. Same like $500 US. Because you want to show and reach no business $500 US shop.
This is the person who called about his police record.
Yeah.
It's not automatically expunged, you know. He have to go and fill out a form and apply for them clear it.
Expunge it.
And you have 1 week or up to a month where he have to pay for that.
Okay.
So you need to go and check the nearest police station, get a form, fill it out, and apply for the expungement of it.
I think them did that say they have expunged certain people over a certain amount of years.
Yeah, that was what was said, but it's not automatic like that.
Okay.
You have to go and apply if you get it clear.
All right, sir. Give thanks for the information.
All
right. Yes. Babylon release the chain. Yes, yeah.
Yes, platoon leader. Colonel Rambo. Where are the king?
What are the people about?
Yo, Muta.
Yeah.
You remind me of my brethren. I'm a bobo, you know, but me have brethren from all houses.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And my brethren from 12 tribes. He used to stand up out of Crown Heights there. Right there, so I know Strand. You see when it rain, he have him little umbrella there, man, in beard.
I tell you.
And then he used to that full ton. And he has shea butter when he bring from Ghana.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And he sell it to the police, them a turn up in the cold car. My white people, them face a crack up.
Yeah.
And he wipe, you will see my wife, the shea butter upon their skin.
For them skin, for sure, them won't work.
You understand? You see, from that Rasta freak, and the police say, don't know the Rasta man, them, yeah?
Yeah, man, what you mean, man?
Can their skin now crack up?
I know them cook with shea butter, Ghana too.
You understand?
Shea butter
why
rice.
people love
Yeah,
it
man,
in America,
I
you
love
know,
shea butter
it
rice.
don't crack up their skin.
Yeah, man, I good thing that, man. Shea butter do something.
Brethren, the brother we did talk about, I read a passage. Let me read one little passage, yes, sir. Well, homage to thee, King of kings, Lord of lords, and Prince of princes. Thou hast ruled the two lands from the womb of Goddess Nut. That they come out of the book of the Persian rule, the book of coming forth from night into day. Which is thousands of years before the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
When the white man's finding out we brother and we sister, we was king of kings and queen of queens, and they call it book of the dead. So if I come out of King James book, King of Kings,
go to the root.
And you can find King of Kings in one book.
Yeah.
Where more ancient, thousands of years before. Nah, so don't about chosen people either, you know.
No, chosen, watch your man. You see them talk, eh? You see them talk, you know, them talk that way
your life,
in your Bible, you know.
Yourself, and it tell it's not selfish, kind of tell you, say you are God too, you know.
Yeah, man, of course. Then who is a God?
You know, and to the end of time, the reason why we are killing us, the symptoms are not the disease. It's a Judeo-Christian religion, you know. Islamic religion, Judeo-Christian Islamic spiritual religion, not even spiritual religion, because it's based on death.
Yes.
Because you can crucify a God and have a proper religion.
Yeah.
Because your God get crucified, you know, that means that me no work nothing, you know.
Something funny if your God dead.
Yeah, come, hey, if God can dead, me can shoot you and kill you.
Yeah.
And also the highest form of Obia, you know. We are talking about the little Obia man who are selling little oil. And Christians are the biggest Obia people. Can they kill one man?
Yeah, but you know, she say, Moses got thrown on him rather than Pharaoh thrown on him to rat them and it turned snake too.
Yeah, that's bad.
Moses most frightened to rat it because I believe some of film like Obia can work there, so.
And one Jew who's the head of the Biblical Society of NYU, he get kicked out of the Jewish religion. He write a book and say, wait a minute. Judaism and Christianity and Islam is an African tradition because when the children of the Jews were stuck in Arabia and Iran and Iraq and them through tribal war. The pyramids light them way and then come to Africa and the Pharaoh give them the best land.
Yeah.
And greet them and take them in. Is when them generation did come into the royal family and convince the Pharaoh now to start sell the land to the people of Africa instead of giving them, whenever you get married, you get a first plot of land and then you can buy the second.
Yeah.
But the Pharaoh give you that as a gift and it cause unity.
Yeah.
When them convince him, say, what you do? How come you make everybody have gold? And you make everybody, he said, but because gold now, if me have gold, then if you have gold, it keep the peace. And when you make everybody have land, them start selling to the Africans, and the Africans say the Jew have to go. You understand? They weren't even Jew at the time. They were just the children of Abraham. And why you think them even have, when you look at all the so-called, what you call the calf didn't represent Eru, the first child. So that's why them said no symbolism and graven images. Because the African religion, you know, so when them leave out Africa, they want to try to wipe out all of that, you know.
Yeah. But
You
not about that, you know,
understand?
it has
So
not
when
been
you have
proved.
to understand, it's always an onslaught against African people and them religious tradition and them spiritual tradition.
Then if you hear most of them one, they will believe in the Bible, you know, them see Egypt as a terrible place, you know. And them talk about something wicked and think them say Pharaoh wicked.
I love my culture, you know, but
Pharaoh
I understand
wicked,
the
Pharaoh
negativity
this and
in it.
Egypt
Took as
this and
a
Egypt
vibrant.
that.
We said, dust to Babylon, you know, you got bingy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you're in the bingy and you never experience it when the man them just stamp them feet when them say all the Ethiopian anthem and them say the Cree. They said dust to they said dust to Egypt, you know.
Yeah, and go down Babylon and them.
And go down, but then they said dust to Egypt.
Yeah.
And then tell you so we come out of Egypt
They
like
release it,
evil
yeah.
Pharaoh have we.
Yeah, man. Them have
So
man.
that self-hate, they're still in a way, you know.
Yes, we see Egypt now in Africa.
No.
Yeah.
And we don't even try to say, we don't even take a time and say, let me see what really go on. We just accept whatever, you know. And when the Rastaman them try to teach you, and the Rastaman themselves, them Rastaman, they depend on something else.
It has now been proven that the people them who build the pyramids were Egyptians who got paid. It's not the Israelites built it.
No. You hear me say? Is the pyramids like the way of the so-called
No, me know what you
Jews?
are saying, but me I tell you how the thing come now right round that there was no slaves.
There was none.
In Egypt. There's not slave bill, nothing.
And it cost a whole heap of different pharaoh. It didn't finish one time.
Yes.
There were no slaves.
30 years one take for bill.
And the Jew just built, the Jews, you see, it's like the conqueror write the story.
Yeah.
It's when the children of Abraham, the shepherds king, invaded Africa and ruled them for about 400 years. Then rewrite the story and try to justify them rule, them invasion by saying they were enslaved.
Yeah, we have to move now, Bridget. Trust me, we have to move.
Blessed love, Rasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muta.
Blessed man.
Yeah, back again. Yeah, back then, like in 2000, it was actually 2000. 5 years would have to pass and then you could apply for expungement.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
So now I thought that those who were like smoking, like they would wipe it. But this brethren you know where give the information so I go to the station and get a farm and pull it out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I for work on that. Anyhow, in the same like would I like bless up my brethren GT Taylor for them little ads the way him run for me at Thursday night and Friday night time.
Run what?
Yeah?
Where's him run?
Some little ads. You know him program where you text him. But actually my own would have come in like ads, you know, because I'm always I say big up the dumpling shop. Yeah, they know ads Muta.
Yeah, they come to it again now.
Eh?
And you just do it a while ago too.
Okay.
But it's not easy now. It's not easy at all. All right, so give thanks.
Well, when me hear about the scandal bag thing, man, me say, why Jamaican creative, man. I'm going to find a way to do all that thing, man.
$100 for a scandal bag, and if you pay $500 for it, you feel good too. Cause them pretty shoes when I sit down there, boy, I see a rasta man have on a shoes and that me I tell you, man. If me a go have me nah left a shoes like that.
Oh, you sure I'm gonna let you in with it?
Oh, you mean, man? They'll appear glitter up there.
No, sir, maybe they're gonna let in and next man, but like you would have said, nah, let in more with that shoes, man. Cause you could have something in it while you have that special one.
Yeah, I walk so much without shoes how long now, them all say no, qualify.
Anyway,
thanks again.
And thank the brethren where call and give the information.
Yeah. Me pay them call from, not the burial place.
All right. Big up everyone and me and it come from the Ratigan crew.
All right, sir. Give thanks. Yes. Okay. We are continuing the journey, you know. Yes, we are continuing the journey. We're going to play this. You ready for this?
Question number 4. Do the Gospels contain eyewitness tradition?
When I was a Bible-believing evangelical Christian attending Moody Bible Institute, before I began my serious scholarship on the New Testament, before I began to read it in Greek, and before I saw what serious scholars of the world had to say about it, I was absolutely convinced that the Gospels not only contained eyewitness tradition, but that they were written by two eyewitnesses, Matthew and John, and by two people who were close companions to people who were eyewitnesses, Mark and Luke. Intense research has a way of changing your mind about things. But I don't want you to think that this is a reason for you not to use your brain. Even if you are the most hardcore, Bible-believing evangelical on the planet, you surely think that God gave you a brain. Use your brain. Craig and I will agree on this. God gave you a brain to think with. Apply reason. That's why God made you a human being instead of a slug. Don't be afraid of using your intelligence to find out the truth. The truth may not be what you were taught, but if it's true, you should believe it, not run from it. As I studied more and more using my intelligence as an evangelical, but also praying about it, I became convinced that the New Testament Gospels were not written by eyewitnesses or by people who knew eyewitnesses. The first point to make is the rather obvious one that the Gospels don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses. They are all anonymous. The titles in your Gospels, the Gospel according to Matthew and so forth, were added by later editors. They were not put there by the original authors. Second point, none of the Gospels claims to be written by the person whose name it bears. They don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses, and they don't claim to be written by people named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are later traditions that were added to the Gospels. These traditions do not start appearing for about 100 years. Some people think that there is an early church father named Papias who attests to the witness of Mark and Matthew, but in fact there are very solid reasons for thinking that Papias, who lived around the year 120 to 140, is not referring to our Mark or our Matthew. The first time anybody refers to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John by name is Irenaeus in the year 180, 100 years after these books were written. My understanding of the Gospels as they've come down to us is that they were anonymous and we don't know their names and they're not built on eyewitness testimony. But the important point that I want to make is that even if the Gospels were written by eyewitnesses, or even if they did contain eyewitness accounts, that would not guarantee that they were accurate. Think about our legal system today. Are eyewitnesses always accurate in what they report? If so, why do we have trials that call in testimony more than one eyewitness? If eyewitnesses were always 100% accurate in what they report, we wouldn't need law courts. If we wanted to know what happened, we would simply ask somebody. Eyewitnesses do not always get all the information right. But even if they did, it wouldn't matter because the Gospels of the New Testament don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses, and in fact they were not written by eyewitnesses. The Gospel writers were living 40 to 50 to 60 years after Jesus died. They wrote the Gospels in Greek. Jesus' language was Aramaic. These Gospel writers were living in a different country. Decades later, where did they get their information from? They were not the followers of Jesus. They don't claim to be followers of Jesus, the disciples. They're written by later people, decades later, in a different language. Where did they get their information from? They heard stories about Jesus that had been in circulation year after year after year, decade after decade, down to the time that the gospel writers living in a different country, speaking a different language, heard the stories. What happens to oral stories when they are transmitted orally? They change. The gospel writers have discrepancies among themselves because the stories that were told and retold were changed over time, and the gospel writers themselves sometimes changed the stories. That's why there are discrepancies. That's why scholars might be able to tell you generally what Jesus was about. They can list 8 things that Jesus did, but they can't tell you the details and agree. Why can't scholars agree? Because there are so many discrepancies that the Gospels are not reliable.
Yeah.
Yes, Mamuta.
Aye.
Wagwan.
Cutting Edge.
Then I observe certain things. My opinion on this crime. Yeah. The crime, yeah, man. Me have to get you that. You have to touch 5 of the money from both sides, you know, because, yeah, they're not serious about it, you know. They're not serious about it. Because now reach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't reach them, man, the man would take the same thing more serious. Because when you look on it, every day people are dead, sir. Where they make only the boy I get them going from.
But but the thing with it, you know, is it's weird how it happen and it happen so rapid.
Yeah.
You know, it just rapid, just happen. It's not like say 2 man kill a man today and then the next week, it's like every day. Every
like
day.
a disease.
How much people them say killed already? How much days gone? Today about 70?
About 70.
About 70.
Yeah, I mean a civil war.
A civil war, man. I don't know, we not civil war, man.
I look on it.
Civilians are killing civilians, man.
Yeah, it will.
With going a civil war.
I something well organized. I don't know how they look at something.
But you know the thing with it? You know, so you have a whole lot of people who get dead last year with them not find them body.
And then enough people dead. With them they report it.
So when them I tell you say 100 and how much? 1,500 people.
Would more people than that?
You have to go add on more upon that because
watch
out. You see them find somebody where people dead for a long time.
Yeah, man. I wait for people there. I will organize.
Because some gunshot did a Club Pro and South Camp Pro there when day before yesterday. Whole heap of gunshot of fire round pan south side so. Me don't hear nobody talk about it.
But I want to tell you something. Me live in Kingston 20 and I wait for gunshot fire, but you don't come back radio.
Which part Kingston 20 there?
Doing the park, man.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
You see, now forget to do Kingston 20 that rated.
Yeah, man. I wait for the other.
No, man, some gunshot did that kill up on south side, so I mean, you hear nobody say nothing about it on the radio.
No, but I want to tell you something with Jamaica. You know, it's Saturday night when you come out of the car and your wife. You stand up class, when you come out of the car party. You stand up class.
Long a rebel salute.
Yeah, you stand up class here, the road, and you got beat out too much. You know, like born me, but nobody say something. Who that devil because he born God? So now I say, wait, everybody have their opinion. Suppose a man, I feel my opinion that. And you want to say, you know, I want to go bleach up. I want to bleach out to one another again. I'm saying, you watching the video, you know? To bleach out, I said, yeah, no, I don't really know the matter. But, you know, to each his one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, not tell us that. But right now, I tell a man, where I go, man, I beat them on Jamaica.
Well, I don't know where I am, but I know say it must stop.
I hear you play something earlier. The advice when them give towards America. I want the people listening.
The advisory, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, that's serious advisory. No, it's I give the advisory, no, it's not the man, you know. It's I give advisory by showing you which place you mustn't go.
Yeah, but I want the people
so
listening.
the man I tell you where is the worst place them in America. Yes. So that is my advice to Jamaicans. If you go into America, this is a place you must avoid.
Yeah, but I want the people listening because people know.
Tomorrow play it again.
It's a good place to iPhone.
Tomorrow play it again, man.
All right, cool. I'm listening tomorrow.
Anyway, give thanks, brethren.
Yeah, man, you too, my brother.
Because if them can't have them advisory about Jamaica, and I tell you, say, don't go down to this place, don't go down to there, don't go down there. Then we have advisory to Rasta. Yes, we have advisory too. We're not going to make them go on like. Yes, Yel. Yeah, fix up your phone. All right. I'll give you a little chance. Fix it up. Yel. Okay. You're not ready for me.
Anyway, one thing I want to ask you for Muta. One thing I want to ask you for. When you play a lead Scotch for me, you play the other night. Blue sky and green field. You get that? I'm to the phone.
I want to the phone.
No. You hear that, Muta?
You tell me say why you're a lead Scotch Perry.
Yeah, blue sky, green field, something like that. Me play the one the other night and I love it. Me tell me, me no want no talking till when the sound done, please.
What?
I me that man.
No, what do you want now? You see if somebody there on the phone, like come cut the truth to make you come on.
Yeah.
Me want cut it to make the other person come on and him credit not done.
Yeah man, nothing wrong man. Me good man, just play me real Scott for you, I'm a good man.
No, you haven't tell me what the true name.
You know, some I don't know the name. You ain't talk about like blue sky, green fields, and what about green fields, blue sky?
Yeah, I think I know how it truly attack.
Motor, I hear that. Bless up.
But me can go and delve into this here first.
Bless up.
Alright? Yeah, the man asked for special tune. I don't know the name of the tune. Yes, man, me I tell you. Love how the thing I work out. I know we'll start off bumpy, but we work around the things.
Yes, Smalley Muta.
Yes, man.
Man of many titles.
Long time I don't hear from you, man.
The light that lights up in the mind of the people, man.
Man, I cut off. I cut you off.
Yeah, but, you know, it light up and make us see the power of critical thinking, you know?
What do you mean, man?
Yeah, man. The clip where you play with the...
Which one?
Evangelist, the
one right on the cell phone?
The one where say him used to the big theological thing and thing.
Oh yeah.
And him say me have one little problem still. But him say it written in Greek, so it written in another country, but because it's in Greek no means it have to be written in Greece. But then maybe if you research was how they right still, but because it's not Greek, it could have been written in Egypt to one time, because I remember saying them go down there, so another time in the language.
Alexander the Greek did go down there.
Yeah, when they go down there and that time the language, right, make most things they write in Greek now, because the people
don't know if that him I say still. I don't know if it's that him I say.
And
because
one
most
more
of the writings them in the New Testament is Greek people write it.
Yeah.
Because fishermen and them man there in a them part of the world there. The man don't know if write such eloquent Greek. You know, it obviously couldn't be some people. You know, it's like you take a fisherman from down a Foreshore Road, you know, and I tell him to write perfect French, and he never gone to school. And no school never did to teach you French. I know have nobody around you talk French. You know them way there. So even Jamaica, even English is a problem. And we hear English every day. Much less we go write in such eloquent way about in a Greek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that alone should have show you say something wrong.
One more problem too with it. You say it was written like 40 years and 50 or 60 years after Jesus did dead, right? After he was crucified and died. And you know say, but nobody don't know when Jesus dead.
Well,
when they crucify him, but Jesus ain't dead on the cross.
Yeah.
Me told me say Jesus never dead, because I look point and say, all right. There's one part in the Bible where them say God did say, see there, my son not dead, me take him up. Right?
No, what
so
way that him not say believe it, you know, to show you where the Bible say.
Yeah.
So the Bible never say him dead.
Me know people me I say it, me don't know.
There the Bible
because
say him
all right,
dead,
if him dead,
rose again.
If him dead, right? How come somebody have to roll the stone have to roll? No guys walk through that them. Him no spirit now.
No, but him have flesh because him going at the house and said, touch me, feel me in the finger.
And that me I talk about. He come out and he say, every time he see the disciple him after then say him dead. He said, don't fear. And me, they see them real, can't touch me.
Yeah,
in other words, can't touch me. You see, he's not a spirit.
Yeah, but him raised from the dead that them I say. Him physical, because him say, when him go at him see the guard, what's your name? Mary Magdalene see me and yes. Was the gardener. And him say, don't touch me, I'm not send it to my father.
Because she think him was a gardener. She never knows him.
Yeah,
but I said, dead man no want food. And that me I say, you know, because I tell them say he hungry, then we feed him, and then feed him with fish and snyder.
You know, say dead man no want food.
Eh?
If him raise something, they don't even no want food. Like a man yesterday, try convince me, for show me where happened about dopey. And me I tell him, say, boy, me the man, me know the dopey thing, You understand? He must say, no, dopey real because some dopey come back, come have sex with them wife. Me I say, then where them where them use and have sex with them wife. Because me don't understand how dopey supposed to be this no flesh, a spirit thing. And have all penis to come have sex with him wife. So me say, then the wife get pregnant, he might laugh.
Immaculate conception.
A joke business, a joke thing, man. Total joke thing.
Immaculate conception, man. But, brethren, I go on to me still couple of shows them, me never listen over the weeks. Me kind of component set leak out. Me don't know if I current left I can hit on my computer leak out, everything leak out. So, me there and
blame the government.
Me link up a thing, Well, the government that a GPS well.
No, government and GPS are the same thing.
Eventually and true. I just talk about government, say me here say blame the government. A man where they lick up in the year on the news where there a man where down at St. Elizabeth riding bike licking a patrol and in dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if I switch to a man a vehicle or if I drop it on the
government have to blame for that. Government to blame them.
Yeah, but me hear the father. I said, boy, it don't happen already and I don't know if it could have been avoided, but it don't happen already. And I say, man, go sue the government for wrongful death.
Me I tell you, man.
Because enough Jamaican people don't know, say, if a patrol broke your axe line thing, you can sue the government and pay a fee. Just that enough of them have to get liar now and it take them years and the money.
Sort of thing, and by the time you happen now, you're dead.
Yeah, but try to sue them by yourself or some liar will take a case when they know say you win if a big money and like all films with the son dead they know. Although I don't know if they have an helmet, so they might try to blame helmet.
And the first thing come up in my mind, No, him never have no helmet, Him never have no helmet.
But the patrol still culpable.
Yeah, but the one where they lick me hard in my head, say, is when the wire come off of the pole and shot the brother and kill him. You know about that one there?
I'm not sure if you know that. After a storm, I just...
Why? I don't know the people them say a long time them do that call GPS and GPS never
okay, well, yes, remember that one there. They say yes, them a call about it.
Yeah. So I don't know if them can sue for that because the brother
people, of course. Yeah. Well, Jamaican people, but enough people having on their mind say, man, a government, you can't sue all them foolishness there,
Because what you know, if you lick down one of them furniture, you can't get sued, If you lick down the light post, if you broke the side of one gully bank, if you bend the iron on the gully edge, you can't get sued.
Yeah, you don't say you want to pay when people in an accident, no one lick where they barrier them.
Yeah, man, you can't get, them can't charge your feet.
Yeah.
So you got a court. So why am to me with all them old dirty road when I see that, where them have patch up every day?
There are some things that funny because I remember one time, the first time I see where they say, like if a policeman go in a uniform in a rum bar and go drink rum, then can lock up the bartender to serve him the rum,
Yeah.
But the policeman no get no lock up or nothing. Maybe he get disciplinary action when he go back to station. But the rum bar attendant can get locked up. They are served in a uniform.
And no policeman are going out with not only with rum, but he might dance and I do 6:30 per woman and all them things.
You know.
Things time and exchange.
We're not going to take up the time too much. So
yeah, man, give thanks,
but they are still a try,
Yeah, man, I don't like when I don't hear from you, though. Trust me.
All the night when I see you down our rooms, they told me they want you show up the night, but I never get through.
2 minutes ago, but where are the down our rooms?
No, I have one brethren and time come down there, so he stay.
Okay.
So he made a very good thing for his son.
Down there?
His son idea down there, so I go down there and he down there.
All right, so give thanks.
I'm brethren, I have a brethren at the airport in New York there, he might as well listen to you and thing. Yeah. Patrick, him name.
Yeah, all right.
I hear him up,
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Go there too, all right.
I tell you, yes, El.
El, Muta.
Blessed man, how you doing, man?
Well, go on.
Yeah.
Right. Today is an important day in our history, Thursday the 18th of January.
Tell me, man.
Because it's in 1981 that 13 of our youths were murdered in New Cross in London.
Oh, yeah, I remember that incident.
Yes, in Southeast London, in the early hours of Sunday morning at the time, 18th of January 1981, when fire that people, believe that's caused by a racist bombing, killed 13 of our people aged between 14 and 22.
Yeah.
And one survivor committed suicide 2 years later as a result of the trauma, you know what I mean? Yeah. And up to now, no one has been, brought to justice for it. Yes. This was, one of the victims was Yvonne Ruddock. It was her party, a giant birthday party. She died. And Angela Jackson, who survived. And it was at 439 New Cross Road. And he's a man from Greenwich Farm. It was his son who died. Sound system was playing. Sir Collins, the producer, originally from Greenwich Farm. His son was playing. He died in that fire too. And since then, Sir Collins has never been the same again, mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamaicans, real sad, and up to now, nothing. Of course, there have been several songs made about it, 13 dead and nothing said and that type of thing. And I have some news about President Mugabe, because notice since he has been removed, we don't hear anything at all as if him never exists in the news, generally,
Yeah.
And so I made my checks in Zimbabwe. And I have found out from my reliable source, that he is in good health, having his medical checkups, and so he's okay. He and his family are fine, and the arrangement is that the present president and the rest who, removed him, are making sure that he has adequate security, protection and everything. So he's okay. And
but the last time I heard that would be one of the advisors to the president too.
Say that again?
I said one time I heard that he would be one of the advisors to the president.
Yes. It's like that kind of relationship. That's true, And so I just wanted people to know, that President Mugabe is safe.
Okay.
So how was Rebel Salute video? I heard it went well, even though the last day I hear some people referring to it as mud splash because of the rain.
Watch out, man, it did sweet, man. All of the mud it did sweet.
Yes. And I hear them was selling reggae shoes for $100 each.
Scandal bag.
That them call, me know, scandal bag them call reggae shoes.
Yeah, man, reggae shoes, it turned out. You remember when long at Sunspot, them used to have cardboard and say a reggae bed?
Yes, reggae bed, remember that,
yes. Cardboard and come in, they say a man pack up cardboard all 10 foot high. And I tell it, say a reggae bed. Well, this time now, it's reggae shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I tell you, it's the sweetest thing me ever see, man.
Yeah, man. I hear, the performances are fantastic. Anthony B. Name them Sanchez.
Yeah.
Luciano and so on. Real good. Real good. And I salute 25 years of it.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yes,
really
I'm to know that Tony Rebel started it on his Earth Strong anniversary around that time, 25 years ago at Brooks Park in Mandeville, and then move on and still going strong after 25 years. So this is good for reggae music, for real, you know what I mean?
I know Brooks Park it start, I know Brooks Park it start. It started in our old theater there, I don't remember the name of it. With Garnet
Old theater, you're talking by Ward Avenue?
No, I don't remember the name of the road. I just tell you, I know Brooks Park. It start. Rebel Salute never started at Brooks Park. It end up at go at Brooks Park. And then
well, maybe I'm wondering if is where them did have that cinema, I think, by Ward Avenue in Mandeville.
I don't remember. Because I did there, the whole theater there. I think I was gone at Silk birthday or something like that. They might celebrate.
Celebrate.
Yasso Safari and all them people there was part of the whole team. Yasso's Garnet Silk. What them call it? Christian soldiers. Them used to call it.
Yes. We have people like Youth and Green and so on.
Yeah. Rebel. All of them come together and do that. But yeah, man, and then move.
And I know it was a thing for to have something good in Manchester, which which is the parish where Tony Rebel and Garnet and from, and others, and parish and my parents really glad about that,
It did really nice. It did nice, man.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, see, Trump kick up another storm again last week, Thursday, with his references and face the references, you know what I mean?
People there, man. We love that.
May I tell you, it make a lot of our people who are not conscious become aware of the reality where them trying to pretend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, of course. Where them things are never there.
Yes. But the thing about Trump is that why is it that him can't, since our countries, them in the Caribbean and in Africa, of course, is lion, them kind of thing. So why is it that them still won't come out of our countries? But me and you know why them still won't come out of our countries. Him won't come out of our countries because that's where the resources of the world are, the raw materials, where them thieving.
Well, you can't use filth and turn in a manure,
Precisely.
So when you say a filth hole, you can't have a whole heap of filth in the hole and then use the filth to make manure. So is that him good at do or that them good at do? It's a filth hole, so them just use the filth in there and make manure if it's
but we him racist faciness and them thing there, and at the same time adding about would I want people come from Norway, instead, in bland blue-eyed business, in racist agenda and thing. But we know is we give the world civilization and the first professions and them thing there. So Trump is the dump, and not our countries. Trump is the dump, you know what I mean?
All right, so I give
and them live as parasites of Africa and the Caribbean, as we know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And thing. Yes, so everything is good. Otherwise, I mean, we just have to just keep on fighting. And as a matter of fact, as a result of what he said, the trick that he wanted to make here, the likelihood of it happening has decreased even more significantly because people lining up for some mass protest and thing, you know what I mean? And him don't want that embarrassment, and Theresa May don't want that embarrassment because people really, him really bringing on some firestorm for himself, which him deserve to get, and that type of thing, and so.
All right, Bridget, wrap a move.
All right, blessed love.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muta, morning. How you doing, man?
I'm there, man.
Blessed love, man. Love the reasoning, love the everything, man. Thanks for the music as well.
You thanks.
Yeah, my view is, I can't understand why we keep on, I love Trump. The thing is, when I know why we keep on look on him and demonize him. The thing is, him never vote for himself millions of times. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we are push all of the thing on him alone and not really look where it come from behind him.
Yeah.
Because him just not speak for himself.
What produced Trump?
Yeah, him not speak for himself. It's something that is there already in the system. As well, you really say it wasn't designed for African people there.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And we still a fight for integrating our system where it's not false and it won't govern us the proper way and stuff, you know. So, and him understands we there is still told because it's so them foreign policy make it. And I keep asking our people to research on YouTube, Noam Chomsky, if you understand the foreign policy of the European people. And there's a new one here, a new video on YouTube as well, with a brother named Chris Hendricks. Fascism in the age of Trump.
But you don't notice every time you make one of them bad statements there, the stock market rise and get big and the do everything, the money, the economy just jump up. Every time him start make them statement there.
Right, that may I say. And we in charge of them thing there, so I mean, Wall Street, and most of them people there.
Wall Street just get powerful quick every
time
him say things.
Yeah.
Anyway, the time I go now, we have to move now. Yes, sir?
Yeah, man, I shout out, man, for real, man. I'm blessed, love, Muta. Take care.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so we say give thanks to the moment, you know, the time and the energy. Fluffy. Give thanks to Fluffy. And me one go it, you know, Sanjay, gone holiday. Me one go it all night. We'll get a little itch in the first part there because of technical difficulties, but we sort it out and we give thanks. It's sort out too, you know. If we get a new computer, all we are go all we are go you know, yes. That's why you do it time, you know. Trust me, do it time. Can't believe I work the thing so hard, man. Anyway, we're going to play, hey, the brethren say, why you the tune? You know much of the tune we play, but true we take call. I could see we can play it out because we not take no more call.